I'm joined now by Ben Scheuer, who's The Lion is coming into the Lynn Redgrave Theater at the Culture Project. Ben, thank you so much for joining me.
I'm so glad to be here with you today.
So, how does it feel to be coming back? We saw you last at City Center with The Lion. I think that was New York's first taste of the show. How does it feel to be back?
Well, The Lion started in little coffee shops around New York City. There was a coffee shop called the Cornelia Street Cafe where I would play once a month, and the show came from a record that I had written. It was a record called The Bridge, and the last song in The Bridge was called The Lion. The opening few lines talks about 4 generations in my family.
This show is a really honest show, and you're talking about your life and your family and the true story of it. What were the songs that were challenging to write?
There's a song in the show called Cure. And Cure begins when I've been diagnosed with advanced stage cancer. And ends.
At what age were you diagnosed?
I was 28 years old.
Wow.
What day is it today? The 29th of January today? I started chemotherapy on the 1st of February or the 31st of January, so exactly 2011, exactly 4 years ago.
Wow.
Sort of today.
And you are in good health now.
Thank you very, I feel great. I'm in good health. I'm cured of cancer.
Right.
And so when I started writing this song, Cure, the lyric was, into the room and in the chair, under the flat fluorescent glare, make sure the needle is secure. Hung from a bag might flow the cure. Maybe I'm an optimist, but I don't think I'm wrong that at 85% my odds are actually pretty strong. 12 treatments in, I'll go get scanned to see if it's worked the way they planned, to see if I'm finally cancer-free, to see if they found a cure for me.
What did those pieces of music mean to you, that you were able to complete them or write them when you were ill?
Rather than cancer having control over me, writing Cure allowed me to have control over cancer. I was making something out of it. I was taking something bad, cancer, and turning it into something good, music. And that is an extraordinary alchemy that is afforded to an artist, and really to anybody who takes whatever is going on in their life and creates something from it. You're having a tough day and you write about it, it might not feel like you're creating anything of worth at all. You are. You are.
I want to talk about one other part of the show as well. My producer mentioned your gorgeous suit, and you talk about clothing and the importance of that. Now, I mean, I appreciate a good suit. Why is it?
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. I want to know why it's important, though, for you.
When I was ill, I had very few things over which I had any control. And one of the few things I had was what I put on in the morning. That was it. I really couldn't do much else. And so clothing became a kind of control. And I didn't want to look terrible. And when you're sick, you look pretty terrible. I wanted to not look terrible. I wanted to try and look nice. And so I realized that the clothing was a way to do that. And I was photographed once a week while I was ill by photographer Raya Lerner, who's a fabulous photographer. And we made a book of these photographs. And it's photographs in the text from the journal that I kept. And the book is called Between Two Spaces.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And we're giving the proceeds to the Leukemia Lymphoma Society.
Ah, beautiful.
So betweentwospaces.com, friends, you can get a copy of this book. We'll send it to you, and the money goes to a very, very good cause, a cause that helped save my life and will save countless others.
You write a lot in the show about your father.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Let's talk. Do you have a couch?
Just like make yourself at home. And let's talk about your dad. What was it like writing about him in this show?
I got to know him a lot better.
Yeah.
My father died before I turned 14, and I was a frustrated teenager, as you know, most teenagers are frustrated. And as I get older now, of course, I understand the way he was from an adult's perspective. You know, putting words into his mouth as a character, for example. You know, he speaks in the show. I hadn't heard him speak since he died.
Bringing him back?
Bringing him back. And so to realize that he wasn't perfect, that he was flawed, as we all are, and that's fine, allowed me to really make peace with him and ultimately with myself.
What were you struggling with?
I think I felt that my father wasn't proud of me, or found me annoying, or found me stupid, or things that teenagers feel. And because I wasn't able to sit down with him as two adults and have him say, I'm really proud of you, you're doing great things, well done, I know I sought that validation from my father. And we got into a fight right before he died and never reconciled it. Now, had he lived, it would have been fine. We would have talked about it. 3 days later, we would have both forgotten. But it was an unfortunate circumstance that led to us being cut off before we could make peace. And so I held this very strongly in my mind until I wrote the show, at which point I really allowed myself to let it go. That it wasn't helping me, it wasn't helping anybody.
Yet your father was very much who introduced you to music, or and taught you how to play your cookie tin banjo, which became the guitar. So I mean, it must mean so much for you and your family to have him as a part. I mean, he's such a major character in this piece.
He sure is. Well, the first and last song in the show is the song Cookie Tin Banjo, and the director, Sean Daniels, made a really good point where he said, you know, you sing Cookie Tin Banjo first, and if people were really paying attention, they'd know that you sang the entire show in the first 2 minutes. And may I sing the song for you?
Please.
My father has an old guitar, and he plays me folk songs. My father has an old guitar and he plays me folk songs. There is nothing I want more than to play like him. He goes to the basement and builds me a cookie tin banjo. He builds me a cookie tin banjo. The strings are made of rubber bands, the strap is an old red necktie. The body is the big round lid of a metal cookie tin. And when he plays his old guitar, I play my cookie tin banjo. Play my cookie tin banjo right along with him. The more we play together, the more I fall in love with music. And I realize that my banjo is a toy that I've outgrown. I want strings of steel and something new and something real, and so he gets me a guitar to call my own. Then Dad says to me on this fine afternoon, let's sit on the stairs, I'll teach you to tune. He hands me a pick, one that's little and black. He shows me the G chord, I've never looked back. Now buried somewhere in a closet is my cookie tin banjo. In my arms is my guitar, my greatest source of joy. For the life that I have now, I'm grateful to my father, who gave the gift of music to his boy. It started with a simple homemade toy.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you, Ben.